today's society. It is defined as actions that are harmful to a child's well-being. It can cause physical abuse, sexual abuse, and/or emotional abuse. Neglect also comes hand in hand with abuse. Neglect normally leads to abuse. Physical abuse is anything that can be seen. This includes welts, bruises, wounds, burns, fractures, neglect, cuts, and bone dislocations. When a child is being physically abused, he or she will tend to pull away from adults. They show a huge change in behavior. The child may also show signs of fear of an adult. Most children who are verbal will give some inclination when they are being abused. They will tell the caregiver they have no food or they sleep on the floor, etc. The family of abused children tends to be filthy. They are also usually isolated from society. Sexual abuse can be seen but most of the time indirectly. It is accomplished through force, coercion, and enticement. They can be pregnant, have blood in their urine, or show rectal bleeding. The child may constantly scratch at their genitalia or have difficulty sitting. Sometimes the children can show inappropriate seductiveness with adults. This is because children are vulnerable and trust the adult. The family of a sexually abused child is usually isolated from the community and refuses to let their children do anything socially normal. 95% of reported cases are men. Emotional abuse is not seen from the outside, it is all from within. The child has poor social skills and avoids eye contact. He or she rarely smiles. The child will most likely report loss of sleep. He or she always speaks negatively about themselves. The families of these children show a lack in their children. They blame the child for everything, and they rely on the child to meet their own social and emotional needs. Emotional abuse destroys children's self-esteem. The abuser usually uses scapegoats and humiliates the child. Attachment is very hard for the emotionally abused child. He or she doesn't trust anyone. They also have problems with the same sex of their abuser later on. Neglect is failure to meet the needs of the child. This includes physical and emotional. Physical neglect is the failure to provide children with adequate food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and supervision. Emotional neglect means the responsible adult does not meet the need for affection and emotional support. The child or children are usually ignored. They lack the love and compassion most normal children receive. Cases of abuse are on the rise in our tough times with our tough economy. Some families don't have enough resources to provide for their families. Sometimes this makes the adults have a mental problem and get discouraged about caring for their children. They go in sort of a depression coma. They don't realize there are endless resources out there. These range from food stamps, Medicaid, child care, and food shelters. Reporting a case of abuse is not hard. We as early childhood professionals are mandated reporters. Anyone working in the public school system with children is also classified under this. There is an 800 number that you can call and report to anonymously. No one has to know who made the call. Imagine how many lives we all could save if everyone in the United States was a mandated reporter. I'm sure the number of cases wouldn't be as high. Society has come to realize that abuse is wrong. If these parents didn't want the children, they shouldn't be having sexual relationships in the first place. Children don't ask to be brought into this world. If their parents make them, they should be responsible enough to take care of them. If the parent's mental health status isn't up to par, they should not be able to reproduce them. We as Americans do not need our children suffering and dying because of abuse. Our children are our future. They deserve all the respect and education money can buy and then some. Think about 25 years from now. These will be our caregivers.